The words hit harder than a slap. Ayan stood outside the school auditorium, heart hammering inside his chest like a drum of war. The hallway was silent, but inside his head, everything was loud: memories, doubts, fears. He gripped the paper in his hand, his audition script for the English debate club, but he wasn't sure if he'd even step inside. A year ago, these walls had felt like a different planet. When Ayan moved to the city, everything changed. Back in his small village, English was something in textbooks. No one spoke it. It was a subject, not a skill. But here, in this new school, English was the air everyone breathed. Classmates chatted in fluent English, teachers gave instructions like rapid-fire bullets, and worst of all, everyone expected you to keep up. At first, he tried to stay invisible. Eyes down. Don't raise your hand. Don't speak unless you're sure. But English wasn't just in the classroom, it was in the jokes people made, the songs they sang, the way they belonged. Ayan remembered the day he tried to join in for the first time. English class. The teacher asked a question, and he had the answer. He stood up, nervous but excited, words forming slowly in his mouth. But he mispronounced a word, developed, and someone in the back giggled. Then a few others. Then more. The laughter wasn't cruel. But it was loud enough. Later, his English teacher had pulled him aside. Maybe you should focus on other strengths. Language might not be your path. He had nodded politely. But inside, something cracked. A silent goodbye to a dream. But dreams are seeds. And sometimes, all they need is rain. That summer, Ayan's grandmother came to visit. She was kind, wise, and always seemed to know what was going on in your heart even if you never spoke a word. One night, she found him under his blanket, earphones plugged in, whispering to himself. "Are you listening to English?" she asked softly. Ayan blushed. "Yes. I like to learn." She sat beside him, brushed his hair back gently, and said, "Do you know why we plant seeds, even when the land is dry?" He shook his head. "Because we believe the rain will come." That night, Ayan didn't sleep much. He stared at the ceiling, those words echoing in his mind. Believe the rain will come. The next morning, he made a decision. He wouldn't give up on English, not for anyone, not even for his doubts. He started small. 1 page a day. That was his rule. It didn't matter how long it took. Sometimes it took him 45 minutes to understand a single paragraph. But he stayed with it. He began writing short stories in Hindi, then translating them into English. He would speak in front of the mirror, introducing himself, describing his day, even arguing with himself just to practice debate. He downloaded an English podcast for beginners and listened to it every night. He mimicked their voices, their rhythm. He recorded himself and cringed at the sound. But did it again, and again, and again. On weekends, he joined an online language exchange. The first conversation was terrifying. He was shaking so much, the girl from Canada on the other end asked if he was cold. But she was kind. She listened patiently, corrected him gently, and encouraged him to keep going. Slowly, something began to shift. Then came the first victory. One Monday, during English class, the teacher asked for a volunteer to read. Silence followed, as always. But this time, a hand rose. It was Ayan's. Some students turned in surprise. The teacher paused. Then nodded. Ayan read carefully, slowly, but clearly. When he finished, the class clapped lightly. And the teacher gave him a small nod, not of pity, but of respect. From that day, his confidence grew like sunlight after a long storm. He still made mistakes, of course. But they didn't break him anymore. They became lessons. When the school announced auditions for the English debate club, his heart jumped. The same club he had once dreamed of, but never dared to try for. He hesitated. He stared at the form for days. But eventually, he signed his name. And now, here he was. Outside the auditorium. Palms sweating. Papers shaking. Just go in, he whispered to himself. Just try. He stepped through the doors. Inside, rows of chairs. Some students waiting their turn. Judges seated at the front. Ayan's name was called. He walked to the podium. The mic was taller than him. He adjusted it with shaking hands. His heart beat so loudly he thought the mic would pick it up. He looked down at his paper. Then looked up. And he spoke. My name is Ayan. A year ago, I couldn't speak like this. I was afraid to even try. But I want to tell you something today, not just with words, but with my story. He paused. The room was silent. I learned English not because I was told to. I learned it because I wanted the world to hear me. I wanted to be understood. And I wanted to understand others. Yes, I made mistakes. I still do. But I kept going. Because I believe mistakes are part of learning. And learning is the way to grow. He finished with a simple sentence that left everyone still. I am not here to be perfect. I am here because I refuse to give up. The applause that followed wasn't polite. It was real. Warm. Full. The judges whispered to each other, smiling. Other students came up after and said, "That was amazing, man. Respect. You really inspired me." Ayan didn't need to win. He had already won. But a week later, his name appeared on the bulletin board, selected, English debate team. He stared at it, not believing at first. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face. He had chased his goal. And he had caught it. And you can too. Maybe your goal is to speak English fluently. Maybe it's to stand on a stage. Maybe it's to just raise your hand in class. Whatever it is, don't let fear stop you. Start small. Start slow. But start. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being brave. Because the rain will come. You just have to keep planting your seeds. So go on. Chase your goals. They're waiting for you.